Hi everyone, welcome to Road to Cat 99. So basically in this video, we will discuss how you should prepare for the ZAT VARC, right? And we will also discuss how it is different from the CAT, right? And we will discuss a lot of things around it. What is the marking scheme? What are the types of things that are frequently asked in the ZAT VA? And the sources that you can use to best prepare for the ZAT VA, right? Coming on to the first thing, right? Telling something about myself, right? I think in the first attempt, I scored very poor in the ZAT VA, right? I prepared very well about it, but I think I scored around 3 marks in the ZAT VA, and it was quite shocking to me. And I scored very good also, right? So what happens every year? A lot of candidates who score good in CAT or in other exams, especially in the VRC, there is no surety that you will be able to replicate your performance in the ZAT VA. That clearly shows कि ZAT का VA is little bit different than the VA of CAT or the other exams. Right, and it happens with a lot of people every year. A lot of people fail to clear the sectional cutoff for the VA or for the DM part, right? Quants is more or less same for the CAT and the ZAT, but I think VA and the DM are quite different, and you should prepare very well for these sections. Yes, obviously it is more tougher than CAT, right? As we have seen, CAT के pattern में क्या होता है? There are 4 RCs and there are 8 to 10 questions of the VA part, right? But what happens in the ZAT? It is a mix of RC, VA, and other type of questions. And generally, when compared to the CAT level, I think level of each type of question is a notch higher than the level of CAT, है ना? Be it passage, be it fill in the blanks, be it this and that, and now coming on to the understanding the VA part, let's understand more about the VARC section of the ZAT. There are 26 questions in the verbal part, no time limit. You will be given around 170 minutes for part 1, right? So in the 170 minutes, you have to attempt VA, DM and QA, right? And there is no sectional time limit. So that means that you can devote any amount of time to the VA section. 4 RCs, around 4 RCs are there. There can be an increase or decrease, but unlike CAT, यहाँ पे कुछ फिक्स नंबर नहीं होता कि आपके पर आरसी इतने ही क्वेश्चंस आएंगे. जनरली देयर आर 2 क्वेश्चंस और द 3 क्वेश्चंस पर आरसी, है ना? जनरली 2 क्वेश्चंस आर देयर एंड 1 or 2 passages have 3 questions also, right? This is the another part, right? 4 की जगह 5 RCs can be there. Small passage based questions are also there. मतलब एक कुछ छोटा पार्ट ले लेंगे आरसी का एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट देयर विल बी 1 क्वेश्चन. सो इस टाइप के क्वेश्चन काफी होते हैं. 4-5 क्वेश्चन यू विल फाइंड इन द पास्ट ईयर पेपर्स, जहां पे आपको छोटा सा पैराग्राफ दे देते हैं. Sort of parasummary कह सकते हो. You have to understand that paragraph and based on that you have to answer what is based on the question that is asked. There is 1 or 2 poems. Generally 1 poem थी last year, right? And poem के base पे I think there are 2 or 3 questions. There can be 2 poems also. Poems are sometimes easy to understand, sometimes it's hard to understand, but the questions are generally on the higher difficulty level, जहाँ पे थोड़ा बहुत confusion होता है regarding the poem, regarding the tone, regarding I would say underlying meaning of the poem. तो वहां पे थोड़ा सा चीजों को infer करने में है ना, यहाँ पे in the overall section of the VA, especially in the ZAT, I think you need a very good critical thinking skill, right? तो यहाँ पे you have to draw a lot of inferences about what the poem, what the author or what the writer is trying to say, है ना? Based on his language, based on his tone, based on his theme of the passage, right? Generally CAT में क्या होता है? You are given a passage and based on that passage you have to answer the questions. But VA में ZAT में क्या होता है? You have to infer a lot of things and that inference should be correct. करेक्ट आई मीन कि वो इन्फ्रेंस आपका जो एक्सपेक्टेशंस है पेपर सेटर की या जो एक्सपेक्टेशंस है ऑथर की, उससे मैच करना चाहिए, राइट? इफ यू फेल टू डिलीवर दैट, आई थिंक देन इट विल बी अ प्रॉब्लम, राइट? देन इट विल बी अ प्रॉब्लम. ग्रामेटिकली करेक्ट सेंटेंसेस, इसके भी काफी क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. वेयर यू हैव टू फाइंड द सेंटेंस विच इज करेक्ट और वेयर यू हैव टू फाइंड द सेंटेंसेस विच आर इनकरेक्ट अकॉर्डिंग टू द ग्रामर रूल्स, है ना? तो यहाँ पे छोटे छोटे ग्रामर रूल्स होते हैं. I would say कि एक बार go through the past year papers and you will get decent idea कि किस टाइप की डिफिकल्टी होती है. And generally you will also find some weird rules, right? आपको लगेगा कि ये स्टेटमेंट तो करेक्ट होना चाहिए, but then there might be some rules here and there based on which that question should have been solved, right? तो वहां पे हर बार थोड़ा सा मिस्टेक हो जाता है कैंडिडेट्स का, right? Between among का एक क्वेश्चन था, if I can recall, right? Then there are very simple questions राइट, और जो हम डेली यूज में करते हैं, बट वी आर नॉट अवेयर अबाउट देयर ग्रामर रूल्स, राइट। और इसको प्रिपेयर करने के लिए आई डोंट थिंक देयर इज एनी सोर्स, आई मीन कंसाइज सोर्स, राइट। सो आप कितने भी ग्रामर रूल्स पढ़ते जाओ, देयर विल बी नो एंड टू दिस, बट आई थिंक यस, हैविंग अ डिसेंट नॉलेज अबाउट दिस, एंड आई हैव टॉक टू अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु आर गुड एट द VARC, तो उन्होंने भी बताया कि दिस थिंग कैन बी प्रिपेयर टू एन एक्सटेंट, है ना, दिस थिंग कैन बी प्रिपेयर टू एन एक्सटेंट. Now coming on to the fill in the blanks, right? There will be questions where there will be 3 or 4 blanks and you have to choose a option कि वहां पे कौन से वर्ड्स आएंगे, राइट। बेसिकली वहां पे वन वर्ड आता है, राइट। सो इट इज टिपिकल फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स क्वेश्चन विद 3 or 4 ब्लैंक्स इन वन क्वेश्चन. सो बेसिकली देयर विल बी अ पैराग्राफ, और वहां पैराग्राफ में देयर विल बी 2 or 3 or 4 ब्लैंक स्पेसेस एंड यू हैव टू चूज वन ऑप्शन आउट ऑफ द 5 गिवन ऑप्शंस, right. Coming on to the para jumbles, so cat में in the cat 2024 there were no para jumbles, but in the ZAT there are para jumbles of 5 statements, and the best thing about this is there is no theta, so you will have 5 options, so there will be 5 sequences, and out of the 5 sequences you have to choose the correct one, right. So this is not on the I would say tougher side, because वहां पे you get 5 choices and थोड़ा सा आप correlate करके देख सकते हो, है ना, which sentence fits the best place, right. Now coming on to the next slide, right, what's the problem, right, we have understood what is VA, what are the things that are included in the VA section. Now let's see कि यहाँ पे क्या problem आती है, why a lot of candidates fail to score good marks in the VA, right. First problem is the 5 options, right. Unlike CAT जहां पे हमारे पास 4 ऑप्शंस होते थे, यहाँ पे 5 ऑप्शंस होते हैं, एंड when you have 5 options it's very hard to choose the best option among the 5 options, right. So there is a probability of around 20% if you hit some answer, if you take the guess, there is just 25% probability as compared to the sorry there is just 20% probability as compared to the 25% probability that we had in the cat, है ना। तो 5 options होते हैं, पहली बात तो ये, राइट। सेकंड पॉइंट इज द पैराग्राफ्स आर डेंस, राइट। जैसे हमने कैट 2024 में देखा, द पैसेजेस वर इजी टू रीड, यहाँ पे देयर माइट बी द पैसेजेस विच आर इजी टू रीड, बट वहां पे प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है ना, यू हैव टू अगेन ड्रॉ ए लॉट ऑफ इन्फरेंसेस बेस्ड ऑन द पैराग्राफ. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने पैराग्राफ समझ लिया एंड योर जॉब इज डन, नो, यू हैव टू ड्रॉ द इन्फरेंसेस ऑल्सो. सो पैराग्राफ को थोड़ा सा ऑथर के व्यू पॉइंट से समझना इज बिकम मच इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट. Now let's go to the next thing, that is options are hard to eliminate. कैट में क्या होता था, we generally left with the 2 options, 2 best options, and उसमें हमें चूज करना होता था. बट यहाँ पे जब 5 options given होते हैं, आई थिंक a lot of candidates have different views about the 5 options, और कोई बंदा कौन सा ऑप्शन सिलेक्ट करता है, कोई बंदा कौन सा ऑप्शन सिलेक्ट करता है. सो इवन इफ यू बॉइल डाउन योर चॉइसेस टू 2 or 3 बेस्ट ऑप्शंस, maybe the answer lies in the other option that you have already neglected, right. तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा ऑप्शन को चूज करना should be an art, should be based on the practice. तो इसीलिए यहाँ पे ऑप्शन choosing an option is a difficult task, right, and option elimination is also a difficult task, right. A little knowledge of vocab helps, though I wouldn't say कि vocab को आपको specially prepare करना चाहिए for the ZAT exam, but yes, a little knowledge about the vocab, a little knowledge about the grammatical rules always help in the ZAT section, right. Maybe if you don't know the vocab, right, what you can do is कि आप past जो प्रीवियस लाइन गिवन है या उसकी फर्दर लाइन है, उससे थोड़ा इन्फरेंस ड्रॉ करके यू कैन इन्फर द मीनिंग ऑफ द गिवन वर्ड, है ना. बट जनरली थोड़ा सा वो कैप का स्ट्रॉन्ग नॉलेज हो, सो यू विल बी एबल टू better understand the passages, and also you will be able to better draw the inference of the passage, right. Question based on theme and tone, right. So we haven't practiced a lot of questions related to the theme, related to the tone of the passage, but these type of questions are there in the ZAT exam, so this also makes it a little bit challenging task. Coming on to the critical reasoning, a good amount of critical reasoning is expected from every candidate, right. If you want to score a good mark, I think critical reasoning is something on which you should work for the ZAT, right. And after reading the passage, or when you attempt the previous year question papers, you will also feel the same, that apart from the normal understanding of the passage, you also need to think critically, you also need to draw inferences for each and every question that is there, right. Now coming on to the practice sources from where you can practice and how you should practice, right. First thing I would like to emphasize on, Just give me a minute. All right. First thing on which I would like to put emphasis is all past year questions from 2018 onwards. Make sure to attempt all the past year questions from 2018 onwards, starting today, because I don't think you need to prepare a lot of things for the ZAT if you have already prepared for CAT, NMET, or SNAP exam, right? So first thing is to test yourself based on the past year trends, right, and put yourself in the time pressure, right? Don't attempt anything without the timer. So put yourself under the time pressure so that you also get to know कि आप कितना time ले रहे हो VARC में, right? Because there would be no sectional time limit in the ZAT. So you yourself have to define the thing कि आपको कितना time चाहिए in the VA part, and you will also get a clear picture कि how many marks you are scoring in each year, right? Time based practice, as I have already talked about. Protect your score. What I want to say through this is कि instead of focusing on maximizing your score in the VA section, obviously you should maximize your score in each section, but what I would like to emphasize on कि protect your score. The reason for this is I think the cutoff for the VARC dwindles around 8 to 9 marks, राइट? तो 8 to 9 मार्क्स के बीच में होती है जनरली, 8 9 10 समवेयर अराउंड दिस, है ना? तो वहां पे क्या होता है ना, यू शुड ऑलवेज फर्स्ट फोकस कि आपको एक बेयर मिनिमम कट ऑफ तो आप क्लियर कर रहे हो, and higher the number of attempts generally don't mean good accuracy or good marks, especially in the Z section, because यहाँ पे गलती होने के चांसेस काफी है और देर आर 5 ऑप्शंस. सो वहां पे जो हायर अटेम्प्ट वाली स्ट्रेटेजी थी, इट माइट नॉट वर्क इन द जेट, राइट? सो यू शुड बी लिटिल केयरफुल व्हेन यू आर डूइंग द क्वेश्चंस, व्हेन यू आर अटेम्प्टिंग द पेपर, अबाउट हाउ यू शुड अटेम्प्ट द पेपर. डोंट फोकस टू मच ऑन प्रोटेक्टिंग ऑन मैक्सिमाइजिंग योर स्कोर इन द VA section. This is just advice from my side. If you are good at the VA section, obviously you should maximize your attempt and you should maximize your score also. But for a normal candidate, first I would like to emphasize कि पहले अपना जो एक bare minimum cut off clear करने के लिए for the XLRI, पहले score that marks and after that make your decision if you want to maximize your score or not, right? Now coming on to the critical reasoning. For the critical reasoning, I think GMAT Club is one of the best sources if you want to practice some CR based questions, right? And GMAT Club में there would be a range of difficulty level, है ना? You can choose the range, right? I think around I'm not very sure कौन सी range fits the best, right? It has been 2 years since I practiced from the GMAT Club, but GMAT Club is the only, or I would say the best source for practicing the CR based questions, critical thinking, critical reasoning or critical thinking based questions, right? Prefer GMAT Club. You can start exploring the GMAT Club. You can start attempting 10-12 questions daily to improve your CR, right? Now coming on to the next thing, that is mark only when you are 80 to 90% sure. Obviously in the VA part, I think Z का VA एक ऐसा है जहाँ पे कुछ questions में like grammatical error और parasample में you can be 90% 100% sure about your answer. But when it comes to the passages, when it comes to the poems, right, when it comes to fill in the blanks, there you might have some doubts, and if you are 80 to 90% sure, I would say mark the answer. But if you are little bit sure, 50-50 का chance है, तो I would say don't go for that question. The reason is कि CAT में जनरली कट ऑफ कम जाती है ना? कट ऑफ भी कम जाती है, प्लस आई थिंक देयर आर 22 क्वेश्चंस. यहाँ पे क्वेश्चंस तो 26 है, बट यहाँ पे इनकरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस के प्रोबेबिलिटी बहुत ज्यादा होती है, गिवन दैट 5 ऑप्शंस आर देयर एंड ऑप्शंस आर वेरी क्लोज, राइट? तो यहाँ पे डोंट मार्क रैंडम आंसर्स, राइट? मे बी थिंक बिफोर यू आर मार्किंग द आंसर, यू आर अटेम्प्टिंग द पेपर, कि आपको कितना अटेम्प्ट करना है, हाउ मच एक्यूरेसी, हाउ मच इनएक्यूरेसी you could afford, and based on that maybe plan your attempt, but don't go too random, right? You could have a chance at CAT after attempting the random paper or based on some XYZ strategy, but यहाँ पे I think you have 30 days and you should finalize your strategy at least for the VA part, है ना? VA में again I am saying a lot of candidates every year fail to score good marks or fail to clear the sectional cutoff. Overall उनका 99.99 हो जाता है, but VA में they are not able to clear the cutoff. तो वहां पे again I am saying protect your score. Test yourself in mock and past year questions. Mocks and past year questions are the best source. Mocks might not be the true reflection of the actual paper, so I emphasize on relying on the past year questions. Past year questions 2018 से onwards कर लो and attempt the past year questions 3-4 times so that you are aware about कि किस टाइप की थिंकिंग एक्सपेक्टेड है, किस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं। वीए के लिए आई थिंक यू कैन गो फॉर मॉक्स ऑल्सो, बिकॉज मॉक्स में ऑब्वियसली यू वुड इनकाउंटर सम गुड ग्रामेटिकल रूल्स, गुड पैराजम्बल्स, गुड फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स ऑप्शंस एंड गुड क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग क्वेश्चंस। तो वहां पे यू कैन अटेम्प्ट, यू कैन गो फॉर द मॉक्स ऑल्सो, बट मेनली आई वुड से कि फॉर द ऑल द थ्री sections you should rely on the past year questions only, right? If you have any other doubts, please put it in the comment section and I will answer that. And if you have any suggestions or any other topic on which I can make the video, please comment it down and let's target 150 likes for this video, and then we will come up with a more ZDM practice session, right? And a lot of students were asking about the ZDM course. So I am planning for the ZDM course. Maybe you will get the details in the next 3-4 days, right? And based on the response, I floated one Google form yesterday on my WhatsApp channel, and you can find that the link of the WhatsApp channel in the description section and link of the Telegram. So based on that response, I'm opening the seats for at least 150-200 students. It will be a recorded course and the price would be around 600-700, nothing more than that. So we will cover the entire DM and bonus session for the quants. More details will be out around 1st or 2nd of December. That's it from my side. Thank you.